Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the channel. Today we sit inside the Carrera GTS GT... Oh, no. Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the channel. Today we sit inside the Carrera GTS 904. This is a car recommended to me by one of the channel members. Why don't you give it a try? It's an absolute beaut. They said, well, with the grind where we are, we're doing a Le Mans tribute, a kind of Le Mans 1967 Ford versus Ferrari. And this is one of those cars we're going to choose to fill pieces in the race. The car itself comes fully shod in racing hard tyres. I'm told it will go the distance pretty much. Let's go and check out the setup. Settings for this car are pretty limited. There's a fair few options you can't choose, which we'll run through at the end. But performance points come in at 650.57 with 345 brake horsepower. It's pretty low in that respect. But racing hard tyres, fully customizable suspension, which is default on the car. Everything is as standard. We haven't changed anything. Fully customizable diff, we've set to 555. It does have a front spoiler and a rear spoiler, but you can't choose the high. So this one is pretty much standard. Its front downforce is tuned to 70. Rear at 180, which is the maximum. You can't choose a fully customizable ECU, so we're stuck with the standard one set to 100%. There's no performance adjustment. I haven't restricted anything. Transmission's fully racing, which we've tuned up to 310. And for those people that are telling me or asking me why I'm using kilometers per hour in the gearbox, that's a coding error. It's a fault by PD. I don't have the option to choose mile per hour. No matter where I go in the options, if I choose miles, it still gives me kilometers in the gearbox. Turbocharger is set to high RPM. We have an intercooler, racing silencer, racing brake system, but with normal pads. Can't choose any of that, as with all of the rest of those pieces. Can't choose anything of them. We have no flywheel or clutch because there's no choice there. No option on the prop shaft. We have the 3 available items installed. And we have the increased body rigidity. Let's get to the track. Can't forget to purchase the tyres, folks. Welcome to the World Touring Car 700. We're here doing 30 minutes from a day at Le Mans. Settings for the race today will be traction control 1, default ABS, active stability management set to on, and counter steer assistance set to strong. My settings on the controller, I'm using a G29 wheel. Our controller sensitivity 5, force max torque feedback 5, and force feedback sensitivity 6. Let's get stuck in. Gonna go to fuel map 6 to start with, then we'll turn things up as we go. Looks like a good weather day here at Le Mans. We're just going to try and push through. Now this car has only got 345 brake horsepower, so it is a bit of a minnow in this field, but it's got great mid-corner speed. And all we have to do is make sure we slow down enough. It's got standard brakes. You know, in the previous races we've talked about tyre technology being a bit lame in the older days. Well, as we're trying to race this car here against these more modern cars, these tyres definitely start to show themselves up a bit. Well, the fuel map shows we've got 10 laps available. We only need to do 7 in the race, so I'm going to turn that up to 3. See if we can pick up some top speed. 5th gear. We don't have a 6th one. As long as it takes us above 170, we're good. We could actually probably take a little bit of gear off there. Rolls beautifully in and out of the corners. I'm going to roll it up to fuel map 1. See where we go. We're in 17th place, 15 seconds behind the leader. This one looks like a head down and go for it kind of race. Just got to stick in there and grind it out. I'm told this car very reliably, I'm told it is an absolute blast round here. Just had to let off the brake there. We came in a bit hot. I didn't really give it any braking distance extra. Let's see how we can go. This is 100% cold. I've had a couple of restarts just off the start line, just getting used to the lack of brakes. But I've not run a complete, well, in fact I've never got to the Mulsanne straight before. Let's go inside the car for a little look-see. Great looking car from inside. That wooden steering wheel is something else. Now, we could have a little bit of bother here. Just going to back off the power a little bit as we come in here. Slid up the inside fairly well, but the four-wheel drive brake checked by Mr. Hizal. Dirty monkey. Plenty of fuel to go on this, so we're going to change to the rain radar and we'll see where we go. If we are absent of rain, this should go all the way, no stop, on a good day. And this is going to be the car to watch out for in that custom race at the end. Even though it's relatively slow, because it lacks the power, it's not going to need to stop at all. Came in there incredibly hot. These gears are so long. Second gear goes to 97 miles an hour. Ninth place at the end of lap 1, 17.5 seconds in negative, surplus to requirements. Got to find a way of just getting this to the front. Onto the Mulsanne straight now. Both cars in front overshot that and had to return back to the track. Does not suffer a penalty. We don't get that option. We just get the penalty anyway. Fly underneath the aircraft for a bit more downforce. 18 seconds behind the leaders. On lap 2, charging down here. Going to hit 180 something. 183. In 6th place, looking towards Mr. Mendoza to see if we can reel him in. We're just starting to pull him back in, just 3 seconds ahead of us. Fuel is fine at 6. Got him down to 2.29 seconds. Better entry speed, much more controlled. Bit of a slide through the apex, but no drama. The rear tyres are now just starting to show a little bit of wear. We've got Mr. Mendoza down to under a second. Still 17.5 seconds from the front. Rain appearing, bottom left hand corner, the southwest quadrant. Five seconds behind Mr. Yamanaka. If there's one race we want to be rain free, it's this one. We always seem to have been rather fortunate with rain. Maybe a couple of races you guys haven't seen where I've just made completely the wrong choices. This rain looks to be really slow approaching. Quite cloudy. Contains plenty of rain, but nothing majorly severe. Mr. Blargazan goes in. Is Miss McEwen going to the pits? No, it looks like she's gone on for lap 3. She's normally stops on the second lap. So with the rain coming from where it's coming and McEwen going on, we're pretty sure we can carry on. There's some heavy spots in there, but I think we'll be unlucky to hit them. So 18 seconds off the lead. Mr. Portilla has certainly gone for it this time out. He's 15 seconds ahead of the two cars in front of us. He really has gone for the beans, hasn't he? He's gone for the win from the start. He probably realises we're a no-stop option. Did we pick up a penalty there for overshooting the curbs? We did. 4 minutes 14, Portilla's fastest lap with 4:15. And we've got a penalty on this lap. However, let's just keep pushing. It's starting to rain. Let's see if we've got windscreen wipers on. We have. This looks like it's going to be the race of the episode. It looks like Mr. Portilla is the one to chase down, 17 seconds ahead. We are getting some rain here, but the water depth isn't getting anywhere significant. It looks like we're still on the primary tyre, which is great to see and hear. Now, like the current modern Formula One, back in the day when Le Mans was the thing back in the 60s, not every manufacturer would take part. Certain issues, certain reasons, certain rules, certain budgets never competed. So Porsche were one of these teams that came and went. They always had a presence. But when safety features were really becoming part of the thing, and Mercedes crash in the early 60s, I think 66, where a significant crash, Porsche were always on and about the fringes, but they didn't ever really bring a car here that was able to compete in those 60s, in those years back then. Various little episodes of privateers standing up and being part of the process. But in terms of a factory team that made a massive impression, there wasn't one. Miss McEwen just absolutely stuffed us. That was really rude. But we're not going to give up on this because we've got damage. The steering is bent to the right. That will repair. but we will get rid of that penalty and keep going. The track is dry. That was really rude of Miss McEwen. We know these guys have got a pit. I will appeal with the clerk of the course later regarding Miss McEwen's racing standards, her racing etiquette. However, Mr. Portilla's gone to the pits. We will, with the boot on the other foot, we will offer him the opportunity to chase us. As we race through the clouds now, the overcast weather looks to be parting ways. It seems to be moving on. Mr. Portilla has his fuel now. And he's going to be on the chase after us. .5 seconds in the lead. How are we looking on fuel? 4.1 laps remaining. We're doing well. .184 miles an hour. So we're 3/4 of a second faster than our personal fastest, but we're not lap record yet. Let's see if we can take purple on the second, on the next marker. There we go, made up over a second, almost 2 seconds to be honest. 16.6 seconds back to Mr. Portilla. Could we be this fortunate that we get a no stopper for rain? Is there going to be a second bout of rain that's going to come through and force us into a pit stop scenario? One would hope not. We've got 17 seconds up over Portilla. Because the lap time is slower in the I'd say 4:12 possibly when we get to the end of this lap. I don't think there's much chance of us having to run the 8th lap because we've gone too quickly. Lap times. The lap time is marginally too slow. If we were close to the 4:0, that would be a struggle, I think. We would have to back off significantly. Little touch on the brakes, brings the front end in, gets the back end to rotate round. So we've backed out of the clouds, the sun's back out, the helicopters are back out to film the process. We're 20 seconds in the lead. We're going to stop just at the start of that pit lane entry to scrub the speed off. Little dab on the brakes just to bring the front back round. A 4:13 gives us the fastest lap of the race. That'll give something for Portilla to chase if he's up for it. Haywood goes to the pits. And onto the Mulsanne straight once again. Fastest lap of the race is ours at 4:13. We're on to lap 5 with no stop. We have rain disappearing off in the northeast quadrant. It's just disappearing off the screen. We've got just over 11.5 minutes to go. We braked a little bit late there, so we had to slam the gears a little bit. .26-second lead now. So this car, which we're going to start to enjoy from the inside, this Porsche, I know absolutely naff all about it, and I'm not going to go and do that research. That'll just make me a bit of a fraud. I know I've given a little bit of history lesson about cars I really like, but it is because I really have an interest in them. I could do some research. I'm more interested in getting to the race with the Ford Mark IV and the Ferrari. The speedo's in kilometres, 280. There's been interesting discussion about, I say interesting discussion, it's floating around my head as I drive around here about some of the coding errors in the game. It would be entirely wrong of the game to change the speedos to miles per hour, wouldn't it? It was always in kilometres, this car, because of where it is. It's a German vehicle from Germany. Why would the speedo ever be in miles per hour? To maintain authenticity and, you know, part of the process. You don't want this car to be a mile per hour, do you? The digital gauge is, and that's fake, that's the hood. But the car itself, you'd want it to be authentic. I don't mind that, I can do the math pretty much straight away. If we wanted to, if we didn't have that hood up. So lap 5, going on to lap 6. We are in danger of running the 8th lap, folks. Need to just run these lap times just a little bit slower. 2 4:15 laps will mean that we are on the edge of the 8th lap. And we don't want to do that with 29 seconds in the lead. It's the first genuine no-stopper. Need to go and check the weather and see if we're in trouble. There's nothing on the rain radar. Might pick up a penalty there. Was that too easy to do? It did. We don't mind that. That'll slow us down just that little bit more, so we only run the 7th lap. While we're talking about other things, if you really are into the history of these kind of cars and you want to tune into a YouTube channel, no affiliation, nothing else, he's not asked me to do this at all, but a guy called GP Laps does some absolutely stunning videos with history and certain races, certain cars. He'll go into great depth and he'll make it really interesting. And whilst I know that's not my forte, he's using games like Grand Prix Legends, Assetto Corsa, Automobilista, you know, and he'll go into all those certain features, and he makes really quite good detailed story videos. And then he'll do a recreated race, and he'll recreate historic races, etc., using the games. If you're really into that and that's something that ticks your boat, I'd absolutely, you know, recommend his channel as somewhere to go to. That's GP Laps, LAPS, and he's got a real cool sounding voice as well, really made for the internet. I wasn't going to say radio, but it comes well recommended from me, but with no links to him at all. He hasn't approved that, I'm just saying it. And I need to give a massive shout out to somebody else as well, who's unfortunately not been very well. So John Wedley, he put a post up today that he's not been well and not been able to dedicate a lot of time to YouTube and Facebook, etc. Well, good luck to you, mate. Hope you're getting better. Glad to hear you're getting back in your rig today, and I wish you a speedy recovery, buddy. It's never good to be brought downhill, so hope you can get back on your feet and get back the way you're going. Thanks for supporting the channel, pal. And I know he probably only does his comment and watch, but that's all we need. And I do wish you a speedy recovery, mate. I know what it's like to be not very well. So here we go, with 34 seconds in the lead. We do have the fastest lap of the race. We've just expended a penalty. We really need to get the end of this lap with 4 minutes 15 remaining, and that would be good. We don't really want much more than that because we need to scrub off that speed. Tyres are looking good. There's no weather to speak of. As we finish this race, we've got one more car to do from Europe, and then we'll have the entire cast for the race, and then we're going to do 3 more videos. So 4 minutes 16, 14, 13 to go on this race. We're just going to have to cruise it in at the end. We're going to see if we can make this absolutely bang on 1 second past, or as near as we can. At only 345 horsepower, this little car has got the beans to get there because it's got the fuel and it's got the tyre wet. That little timer up there said we were behind on our lap time. It doesn't matter how fast we go, I'm not going to be able to beat that lap time there, because that would mean we have to do the 8th lap, and I don't think we've got the fuel for the 8th lap. We haven't. 187 mile an hour with reduced fuel and a very twitchy entry to that corner. We had to panic a little bit. You might have seen that on the old boat race. 1 minute and 7 in the lead. Absolutely tip-top-a-roo. This is a great little car, I have to say. Whilst it feels underpowered, and I don't know how it would cope if we did have the rain and would genuinely have to be fighting with the AI. I think it would do all right in the slipstream, but I think we'd get overwhelmed quite easily. Still a second up, so that would drop us into the 412 laps, which is about where we anticipate. It's about 10 seconds slower a lap than the fastest cars we've used. And we've used a few of them here at Le Mans. This is our second series. This little mini series is gonna work out to be quite full. That sunshine is beaming down on the track. That tarmac is baking hot, and these hard tyres have really survived. We did have room to use the mediums. We would have had to do a one-stopper. I'm pretty sure about that. Looks like we're in a position where we're going to have to creep up to the line. Want to keep it looking like we're trying. Missed the gear change there. Oh, bouncy road. Certainly feel it through the steering wheel. 1 minute to get to the line from here. I think that's well achievable. These are the Porsche curves, or they're called the S curves. Can't remember. I'll have to do that little bit of a look up. I'll probably prove totally wrong about my little history snip on Porsche not being massively present in the 60s, but hey ho. 20 seconds to get to the line. We're going to have to slow up here. Yes. Oh dear. Nice little pirouette for the crowd. 5 seconds to get over the line. Couldn't have done that much better, could we? As we finish the race. A great little car. No artificial rear wing on the back, just a tiny little lip. Performed the job beautifully well. Great little car for this race. And there it is, finishing in 30 minutes and 3 seconds. 1 minute 15 ahead of Mr. Portilla and 3 minutes 14 ahead of Mr. Cato. It achieves the fastest lap of 4:13.542. Would that be in my grind armory? I think it would. I think that would produce quite a great little race with a bit of rain. It's very controllable, very drivable. It's quick-ish. It's low on power, but that just means you save all the fuel. And it delivers the credits to the bank account. Well, there it is, and here's the internal view. We've been getting this quite a lot, haven't we, as we've been finishing the races. But with that, folks, it's up to you what you do. If you want to go and take this to the track, you do so. If you want to change the tune, if you want to spice it up, you want to slow it down, you want to make it more drivable, do whatever you need to do. But thank you very much for joining in. Thanks for the support, and we'll see you on the next one. All the best. Take care. I know we're on the hard tyres, but we're looking to make this car go as long and deep as we can. Look at that. That's shockingly terrible. Battered off the track.